Well, good morning. We reached the end of the work week. It's Friday. The weekend is upon us. And this is going to be the Sunday after Easter. Now, if you were part of our Easter services at E-Free, we looked at the story of Zacchaeus, and I challenged you to go climb a tree. Zacchaeus climbed a tree to get a better look at Jesus. And the tree I gave you to climb was to come back to church on the next Sunday. That's this Sunday, to give Jesus one more Sunday. And at 9 o'clock and 10:30 at all of our campuses, including online, we'll be starting a new series called Focus, looking at 6 catalysts we need to grow in our walk of faith. We're going to start this week by looking at talking to God. And even if you've never prayed a day in your life, I'm going to teach you this Sunday how to talk to God. You don't want to miss it. Well, we're doing a deep dive into the story of David and Goliath, and right now we're looking at truths about giants, and we saw yesterday the giants seem insurmountable, and that was true of Goliath. His name meant great. He stood like 10 feet tall. He was incredibly strong. But not only do we learn that giants seem insurmountable, there's a second thing we learn about giants in the story, and it's this, that giants produce insecurity. That's what happens when you look at the giants in your life, the challenges. They'll produce an insecurity. That's what happened to the army of Israel. Let me read verses 8 through 11, 1 Samuel chapter 17. It says, Goliath stood and shouted to the ranks of Israel and said to them, "Why do you come out to draw up in battle array? Am I not the Philistine and you servants of Saul? Choose a man for yourselves and let him come down to me. If he is able to fight with me and kill me, then we will become your servants. But if I prevail against him and kill him, then you will become our servants and serve us." And again the Philistine said, "I defy the ranks of Israel this day. Give me a man that we may fight together." And when Saul and all Israel heard these words of the Philistine, they were dismayed and they were what? Greatly afraid. This insurmountable giant produced an insecurity in their lives. Every day, morning and evening for 40 days, Goliath would come down into that valley and mock the army of Israel. He would challenge them to send down their best warrior to fight him one-on-one, winner take all. It was called representative warfare. You see, that's what giants do. They don't just show up once. They seem to show up over and over again, even multiple times a day. When there's a giant in my life, you know what I discover? It's the first thing I think about when I wake up. It's the last thing I think about when I go to bed. And even when I wake up in the middle of the night, it's right there in the forefront of my mind. And giants cause fear. They cause insecurity. That's why no one in Israel's army would fight the giant. In fact, the Bible says when the giant appeared, the army of Israel fled from him and were greatly afraid. That's what giants do. They cause us to run. And unfortunately, often it means to run away from God. So how could David fight this giant? Well, we're going to learn together that David had several characteristics that were needed. Let me just list them. We'll look at them starting Monday. He had communication with God, commitment to God, confidence in God, courage for God, and a celebration of God. And we're going to learn how to develop those in our lives beginning next week. Well, I hope you have a great weekend. Hope you'll be in church on Sunday. And I hope you'll right now share this on your Facebook page. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Sunday and then right back here for another morning check-in come Monday morning.